All right, so we're back at the British Boutique Guitar Festival for the third time, and I'm here with Daniel again from Devil & Sons Custom Guitars, and we're going to be looking at this thing today.
Yeah.
So this guitar was one of the guitars you brought to the first show, but this didn't have any strings on at the time, so I believe this has had a bit of work done, and it's got some cool features. So yeah, what have we got here? What are we checking out?
Yeah, so essentially, for those of you that don't know, a lot of the work I do is customizing other people's guitars. And when I brought this to the last show, I was in this process of trying and experimenting with ways of customizing guitars that involve this sort of technique where essentially I'm using a process people call kit bashing, where I'm taking bits of that. There's a model tray in here. There's bits from Warhammer sets for people who know Warhammer, but also then bits of things I found. There's some lateral flow tests on some of these guitars, bits of water pistols, bits I've cut and made myself. So I was experimenting last time I saw you with that process. So this is an Epiphone SG. In fact, it's the second electric guitar I ever bought myself.
So it's actually one of your personal guitars as well.
So that was what I wanted to experiment on.
Right.
And what's happened since I last saw you is it's had a couple of different paint jobs. One of them I painted to look like a particular type of spaceship designed by an artist called Chris Voss, who's a very well-known sci-fi illustrator, illustrates sort of book covers. He illustrated the original Dune books. So Dune that was in the cinema recently. But I found that was just too complicated. When you want something on stage, I want it to have a great stage presence, look really good. And it looked great as a model, but it didn't look so great from distance because it was too complicated. Right. So I've sort of pared it back. That's where I'm at now with this sort of more simplified colours. Yeah. I managed to just get this one finished in time for today. It still actually, I think, needs a little bit more paint. I haven't put my logo on. I'm making custom control knobs for it as well. And then I've loaded it up because, like I said last time, I didn't have pickups and stuff in it. These are some 1979 T-top Gibsons from an SG.
Nice.
That a client gave me when I did some work for him.
Nice. I love the paint job on the top horn as well, where you've got that kind of like the galaxy gradient, as it were, where it goes from like the blue to the purple with the speckles.
Great. Yeah, I wanted something that sort of disrupts the actual original shape of the guitar in some way. It's
nice because you can tell it's an SG, obviously, because you've got the prominent horns, but then everything else about this is very not SG, which is really cool. It looks great. It's very kind of sci-fi, and it's a really cool take on, taking a classic design and
great. I mean, that's the thing. So I do make guitars and the bodies, but a lot of what I do is people send me guitars that they like playing, but they don't particularly like the look of them anymore. They don't think, like some people I think are a bit embarrassed by the fact that one of their favourite guitars to play is some cheap guitar they've had for ages. And they want to be playing on stage with more expensive guitars, but they actually like this guitar, so they want to do something to it. So that's what ends up happening a lot of the time.
Makes sense. I mean, I know last time we spoke on video, we talked about your take on relicing with this thing. Obviously, the ultimate in relicing, which I believe is called the End of the Road.
So actually, I do a lot of relicing for people, trying to get really natural finishes. And I do pride myself in knowing that I can replicate something. So people send me photos of actual guitars that they want a copy of.
Right.
But then this is obviously extreme. It wouldn't really relic like that.
This should be your Road Worn series.
Yes, very road worn.
It's a great take, though, isn't it, on relicing? It's like, how far can you go?
As I always say, I want my instruments to be things that take someone's personality on stage with them, or in music videos, or wherever they want to add something to the performance.
Is that something in terms of like your customer base then? Like, let's say you had a customer who came to you with an SG similar to this. Would you be able to build a design around their kind of personality or the sort of things they were interested in?
So one of my favourite things about doing this job is working with people to develop their ideas. So, for example, there's a band called Inner Axis, a German rock band, and I've just finished my fourth guitar for them. And the last three actually, have been very specifically related to songs or albums that they've released.
Right.
So they've come to me for the most recent one with the album artwork and the video they made for the first single. Right. And then we had maybe a month of backwards and forwards where he had a Jackson Dinky that he liked playing, but he wanted it was a bit plain for him. So we had a month of me going backwards and forwards with drawings where I literally drew onto photos of his guitar. And then he would send me things that he liked the look of, and I would Photoshop them onto the guitar.
Right.
And then I ended up carving into that guitar and embedding LEDs and things into
Wow.
it. But it was realizing what he thought he wanted, but as a non-artist, he doesn't know how to. I mean, he's a musical artist, but not someone that can visualize it.
That's cool. That must be a really fun take on the job, because you're kind of designing something with the customer then as well, but you're allowed to have your own kind of artistic vision inside of that, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why these have taken so long, because I keep getting sidetracked. Well, not sidetracked. I keep working with other people and doing my own things, which hopefully the aim is either I would sell these or they would encourage people to see this is something that could be done for them. Yeah. But they've always been on the side because of doing that other thing. But as I was saying to you just off camera, I've recently switched. So my job working in arts education and teaching at universities and things, that's more or less coming to an end now. So I'm more or less full-time on guitars.
That's cool.
So it does give me a bit more time to do things like this.
Yeah.
Although that one was finished last night at 11 o'clock. Have to get it.
That's always the way, though. That's how these shows run. If you're not still working on the guitar before the video starts, it's not ready yet. Yeah. So I think the other thing to mention, though, is obviously aside from these looking really striking, and obviously you can really kind of go crazy visually and really kind of change the perspective of what the guitar looks like. These are functional instruments as well. So they're not just art pieces that you would hang on a wall. This is literally a guitar that you could take up and play. It's a functioning SG.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nonsensical to make something that looks good to play live if you can't play it live. Or to play at home. Exactly. I think when you're playing something that looks interesting or looks different, it maybe changes the way you're playing. Just like if you had your favourite guitar, that you're going to have a different feeling when you're playing your favourite guitar to when you're just playing someone else's guitar.
Yeah, that's it. And this is like your favourite guitar on 10 all the time with your maximum personality. Yeah, 11 and beyond. So let's have a listen then. Should we do clean or drive?
So I would love to hear these pickups, because like I said, they're these old pickups. And I think maybe you could wow us with a mix of clean, and then
let's do it.
This looks like an instrument that needs some drive on it afterwards.
So they're quite crisp sounding pickups. I think it is kind of screaming for a bit of that, though. They're very fat sounding pickups. They're quite responsive though. What, they late 70s, you said?
Yeah, so the date stamped on the back is 79.
Okay, but from a Gibson SG.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So normally when I'm working with a guitar, I either will buy a set of pickups where at the moment I'm using Acme pickups a lot, so I can speak to the builder himself, Jack, and I can talk about what we want and I know what I'm getting. But when it's these sort of vintage ones, I've not really used them before. They've been in a box, and so I wasn't sure what to expect from them. Right. So I'm not sure if they're the right ones for it, because I think a lot of the instruments I make, people tend to be a bit more full-on shred on them.
Okay. So, these like 70s Gibson pickups are quite hot. Like, I mean, I know we're using an Engel, which is quite a high gain amp anyway, but I've literally got the gain on 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, these have got quite a bit of... There's a bit of punch in there. Like, I suppose if you were playing...
I haven't really measured the output from them yet, so...
If you were playing with a gain more around, 2 o'clock. There's plenty of juice in those.
I think they're probably going to stay in. We were talking before, I was saying I wasn't sure whether it was right to take some vintage pickups like this and paint them. But I think they probably get a little bit of a dry brush on them, so they resemble more the black that's there, a bit more metallic looking.
I mean, I think that's obviously a very debated topic, isn't it? Of should you mess with the aesthetic of vintage stuff? But I think if it's the sort of guitar that, you know, those pickups are going to live in this guitar forever, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like you're putting a Floyd Rose on a 59 Les Paul, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but
you know, if
it would upset people on
59 Les Paul and you want a Floyd Rose on it, then I guess you're right.
That would be something that the comment section would explode with, though. If someone did get a real 59 Les Paul and put Floyd Rose on it, I think that would break YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pickups sound great, though.
I want to do that
like
now.
the sound.
I want to break YouTube.
There's the next project then. So if anyone's got a 59 Les Paul, they should look up Devil and Sons. Bring your Floyd Rose. Any pickup recommendations to while we're at it? If we're putting a Floyd Rose on it, we might as well change the pickups.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm really loving these Alchemy pickups and putting everything, so I'll give him a call.
So I know Jack does a humbucker with, is it a 32K output?
Yeah. So so the other guitar here, I've got set to put in this.
Right.
But I just didn't have time last night to finish this one.
So this looks like it's going to be something quite cool as well. So what's...
Yeah, so this one,
what's the idea with this?
The neck's bit temporary at the moment because I'm going to do stuff on the fretboard on it. But again, this is one that I was customizing with the same idea as that, to try to customize something just to see if in principle it would work, which I think it does work.
Yeah.
I love the aesthetic of them. And this one I'm trying out slightly different paintwork on that. So it's not quite finished, but it's nearly there.
Yeah, looks cool.
And whether, like, a lot of my guitars have LEDs in, whether I think these are probably crying out if I do it again to put the LEDs in.
That would look cool with
LEDs.
LEDs.
I started it without that in mind for some reason.
My brain instantly pulls me towards this, like that should be lit up. I know.
Yes, yeah.
Electronically, that would be a massive pain because there's a lot of places to put LEDs. There.
Well, it would,
but that would be cool.
This actual bit here with the circles on it, that is the back of a vacuum cleaner, and so it's just a thing I've stuck on. So actually, if I made a sort of indentation underneath and filled that with LEDs first, and kind of embedded them with the green resin, then sticking that on top wouldn't have been a problem. But at the time, like I said, I was just experimenting with this idea of building up on it. And I hope it's the thing that people want on their guitars.
Yeah, it's cool.
Again,
that's what I love, though. I love that you make parts for these guitars out of stuff that... I mean, who would ever consider using a hoover to build a guitar?
Yeah, well, you will never look at your home appliances the same again once you've got this in mind.
Do any particular brands of hoover have different tonal characteristics? Because I know people like that kind of stuff online.
Yeah, tone hoovers.
Yeah, is there like
vacuum? We should call it vacuum because
okay. So is there like a particular brand of tone vacuum you'd recommend?
I definitely would avoid Dyson at all costs.
Okay, right, there we go. So Dysons don't sound as good as other brands.
Yeah, but we're getting political now.
Yeah, we are. that's for another video.
Great.
But yeah, these are great. They sound good. I like these pickups. I think these are a good choice, and that is going to be really cool when that's finished.
Yeah, I'm really keen to try those really high gain, high output pickups on it as well.
So if people want to find out more about these and obviously check out other concepts you do, where can they go and where can they?
Well, as always, I want all the social medias as Devil and Sons. But actually, on my YouTube, at the moment, I just made a ukulele version of one of these.
Okay.
And so I've got a short video, a minute long, of the process of making it. So you can see the plain ukulele and as it builds up and gets painted on it.
Right.
And I've been filming these as I go along, so you'll be seeing making of videos of them very soon as well.
There you go.
So if you're interested in these,
yeah,
to see them. And there's loads of videos on the end of the road ones.
Yeah, and anyone watching, that video is on my channel somewhere as well. We shot this last
and
week.
one with Mike.
Yeah, and there's one with Mike as well. And we were actually sat in these exact chairs talking about that guitar 12 months ago.
12 months ago, yeah.
So that video's out there as well. Cool. Well, great. Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to show me the new guitars and talk about everything going on. I will put some links down below where people can find out your channel and your socials and check out everything you do. Great. So yeah, if you're looking for any cool custom guitars, go check out Daniel's stuff. His Instagram's full of really great pictures, so go check some of those links out. And obviously don't forget to check out all the other videos from all the other guys here at the British Boutique Guitar Festival. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.